Medieval Chronicles presents. The world was changing. The old medieval order, with its kings crowned by heaven, its popes commanding souls, its certainties rooted in faith, was cracking under the weight of new ambitions. Cities rose, empires shifted, and human reason, bold and restless, began demanding its place beside divine truth. In this age of brilliance and danger, two minds emerged, not to witness history, but to challenge it. Niccolò Machiavelli, Sir Thomas More. Two men standing on opposite shores of morality and power, gazing across the same tumultuous sea, yet seeing a very different world. Italy was a chessboard of ambition, where kings played, mercenaries bled, and survival was the measure of wisdom. England was consolidating power. Its throne soon to test the limits of loyalty, faith, and conscience. This was the battlefield of ideas, where politics left the cloister and entered the arena of men. Florence, 1469. Born not to privilege, but to observation and wit. Machiavelli learned early that kingdoms do not fall by fate, but by navit. He served republic and ruler, saw freedom rise and tyranny return, felt chains and humiliation, and returned not bitter, but lucid. He opened history like a surgeon opens flesh. He studied men not as saints, but as they are, ambitious, fearful, easily moved by hope, greed, and fear. And from that clarity, he wrote a warning to rulers. It is not from how men should live, but how they do live, that power must be judged. Virtue without strength collapses. Mercy in the face of wolves is death. Power is not a prayer, it is a weapon. To rule, one must sometimes step into shadow, not to love darkness, but to prevent greater ruin. To Machiavelli, morality is noble, but survival is sacred. London, 1478. Scholar, statesman, Christian, humanist. Thomas More believed that authority must bend to the divine, that rulers serve not themselves, but the eternal moral order. In Utopia, he dreamed not of power, but harmony. Law guided by justice, government shaped by virtue, citizens formed by education, faith, and dignity. To him, the soul of a nation begins with the soul of its leaders. And when power demanded that he betray what he believed, he stood unshaken. The king called for obedience. More answered eternity, and his final words became a torch for the ages. I die the king's good servant, but God's first. Power can kill a man. It cannot kill his truth. Two visions, both born from love of their nations, both convinced they were saving the world. Machiavelli looked at man and saw danger. More looked and saw dignity. Machiavelli feared chaos. More feared sin. One defended the state's survival. The other defended the soul's salvation. Their question remains ours. Is it better to rule effectively or righteously? If virtue destroys a nation, is it still virtue? And if power secures peace through cruelty, is it still leadership? This is not a question for the past, it is the tension of every government, every leader, every citizen with authority. Centuries have passed, yet they remain seated at every table of power. Machiavelli whispers in strategy rooms, "Be realistic. The world is sharp." Moore whispers in courts of justice, "Be righteous. Eternity is near." Modern leaders still choose between the lion and the lamb, between the sword and the prayer. And often the world is shaped by whoever chooses first. Perhaps true leadership is a pilgrimage between shadow and light, to see humanity's flaws, yet trust its dignity, to act with prudence, yet anchor in virtue. For power without conscience is tyranny, but conscience without strength is a dream undone. In the space between necessity and nobility, a leader is born. If history still speaks to you, if you believe wisdom can shape our present, like, subscribe, and walk with us through the voices that defines civilization. And tell us, should power bow to virtue, or must virtue adapt to power to protect the world? Until our next journey, seek truth, honor conscience, and never stop questioning the world, or yourself, and